Good afternoon, everybody. I don't know if you can hear me very well. Sylvain and myself, Jeanne, are very pleased to introduce you to Kanopya, developed by Hedera Technology, a cloud automation and QoS-driven management software provider. It's a French company created in 2009, and our mission is to merge cloud management platform and smart workload management. We make sure infrastructures adapt to companies' activity. We pilot the different layers of the IT stack, hardware, storage, VM, IaaS, to create automated, orchestrated, and scalable services. We bring to our customers, enterprises, and service providers a complete private cloud computing solution. For us, the best way to optimize an infrastructure is to manage and automate hardware and IaaS. We do not just turn them on and off, we bring intelligence to them in order to find out the best configuration as possible. Our customers are nowadays tired of redundancy of operations, and specifically in complex environments. So what do we ask them to do today? We ask them to do more, quicker, and with less budget. So Kanopya helps them resolve these kinds of issues. Because of our know-how in automation, we'll be able to boost your whole IT infrastructure. Not only do we monitor resources, but we solve the root cause problem automatically and in real time. We make sure the link between resources, SLAs, and requests is made. So how does it work? Well, Kanopya's philosophy works with the virtuous cycle. As you can see, once a cycle is finished, another one begins. So basically, what you have to remember is that we monitor the different resources, so the system, computes, applications, etc. And we bring the intelligence, we analyze them, we correlate them to know exactly what actions have to be planned to find the best configuration as possible. And we make sure operations are made successfully, obviously, so with the workflow and deployment management engine. So Kanopya is divided in 6 different modules, but what you have to know is that the solution has been developed from scratch and designed for production environments only. So each module has a specific know-how and respond to a particular demand from our customers. For example, the Smart Workload Manager is the intelligence of the solution with the correlation engine, the rules engine, the analysis, and the historical learning. And you're going to ask me, what is the historical learning? Well, it's, for example, all your sales representatives connect to the CRM at 11 o'clock every Monday morning. Well, the solution will know that, and then we'll deploy the amount of resources to anticipate the request increase. So that's the first module, the Smart Workload Manager. The second one is the VM Lifecycle Management, which is designed to optimize virtual environments with operations like live migration, hot add and remove of RAM and CPU. And this module will actually analyze the activity of each VM to avoid resource waste. The Orchestration Manager is to make sure your operation goes successfully, and that will create the right workflows at the right moment. The Cloud Service Portal is perfect for companies and service providers who want to create a cloud computing offer. It's with this module that you'll be able to create your offer A and link it to your client A, your offer B and link it to your client B, etc., and follow the consumption of each client. The full stack deployment is the automation for each IT layer of the IT stack. And the core engine is the glue that combines together the different modules. So you can either add them up to make a solution, or you can either use them independently in your IT management, with your IT management tools. So we're not here to replace your existing tools. We're here to bring intelligence and complete them. So now that you've seen how it works, you must be wondering, okay, but what are the gains? Here you will find figures from projects we have realized. So we've told you before that we are in cost reduction time. So with Kanopya, one of our clients has been able to save up to 20% of his future investment. We talked about doing stuff quicker, and yes, one of our clients used to take 8 hours to provision a YAS, and with Kanopya, it only takes him 45 minutes now. We talked about occupation rate. One of our service providers used to occupy only 41% of his capacities, and now he's up to 74%. We talked about flexibility, and the results from one of our projects is that with Kanopya, a client has been able to switch from one YAS to another up to 30% of its compute nodes, and that every single day. And we talked about adaptability, which is still necessary today, and the ongoing loop I've talked to you about adapts your infrastructure every 5 minutes. So now that you've understood a little bit more what we do, Sylvain will show you exactly how it works and how does it look like. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, hello everybody. I'm Sylvain Baubeau, and I'm project manager on the Canopia software. And I'm more specifically in charge of the automation and deployment engine of Kanopia. Since we have little time, the demo will only focus on a few key features of Kanopia, and in particular, its ability to have a real service-centric vision, and how it can make it easier for you to define services that match your end-user needs. The end users may be the business units if you're in your company, or your customers if you are a hoster. We shall not go in depth with how you register your existing infrastructure into Kanopia, but instead we'll start with a pre-configured environment that is running in our offices. So this is the Canopia Web Console. It's the single point of entrance for all the persons that will have to manage your infrastructure. The first kind of user is the system administrator. So let's. I'm going to put my system administrator hat on. My job is to register my different resources into Kanopia, such as the computing resources. For example, they can be bare metal servers, or a Cisco UCS if you have one, or an existing YAS such as VMware vSphere or whatever you have. You can also register your storage. Kanopia provides its own storage system, but if you have, let's say, a NetApp SAN or whatever storage you have, then I have to declare the networks that my infrastructure is going to use, the IP pools address, the VLANs, the network topology of my infrastructure, and finally, the system components that will be used in my infrastructure. For example, the operating systems or the kernels, specific kernels for my infrastructure. So now, during the life cycles of your services, Kanopia's automation engine will pilot these equipments, for example, to provision a new hard disk on your storage SAN, or for example, start a new machine on your YAS. So now that the technical infrastructure is registered into Kanopia, I'm going to put my system designer hat on. So my job is to define the services that will be available to my end users, and for that you have the concept of policies. So policies can be seen as a templating management system for your services. So there are different kinds of policies: the hosting, storage, network, etc. So how they can be useful to you? First, they simplify the management for non-technical persons. I may not be familiar with the different kinds of storage devices or the different computing resources. Then it allows you to define the right level of quality of service for your service. For example, let's say I want to deploy a service on a slow storage or fast storage, or for example, deploy virtual machines on a highly available YAS. So, and finally, through the policies, you can define complete service offerings with various and customized thresholds. And for example, I can limit the available resources, the maximum number of nodes of my services. And once you've defined all your policies, you're going to combine them into your policies into services, so that you can build whatever service you want. For example, here you have a full LAMP stack that is deployed on a highly available YAS. So, and so I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you how, now that we've defined our services, how concretely we can instantiate a service for a particular business unit or a customer. For a hosting company, I would typically put my sales representative hat, or in another company, I would be someone from the IT department in charge of instantiating the service. So, sorry. Yeah, okay. So now that we've defined, let's say that in my company, the HR department wants to deploy a new HR management system. So let's say it's a web-based application that uses a LAMP stack that we've talked about. So this is really easy. I just instantiate a service. Sorry about that. It's a bit long. I just give it a name. So this is, the customer is my HR department, and I'm going to use the service we defined earlier. And then Kanopya will show you all the underlying policies that will be used for this service. The hosting policies, the orchestration, the storage, the network, everything. And you can customize it for this particular instance. If you define a few networks on a service but you want to add more, you can do this, or even deploy a new software component, like an LDAP server on this instance. So let's take a look at an existing instance. This is a living instance. You have an overview of what's going on your service, on your instance, like the CPU usage of your service, the available memory. You can customize it. You can add the relevant indicators. You can also see the resources, the computing resources that are used by your instance. Like here we can see that we have 2 virtual machines. Typically, I can click and scale, add more RAM to one of few nodes. I can see the software configuration of my instance. I can see here that I have a load balancer. I can configure it through this tab. You also have a journal of all the events of your service. For example, if there was a power failure or maintenance or something like that, or the instance was stopped, everything is listed here. You also have access to the smart workload manager. Here you can configure rules. So, for example, here we can see that if the CPU load is too high on my infrastructure, then a new server will be spawned, and Kanopya will automatically deploy it and configure everything. So here you had a quick overview of Kanopya key features, and I hope that you have now a more clear idea of how Kanopya can can be useful in your environment and how it can be integrate itself into your environment. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask me or Jeanne right now or at the coffee break. Thank you.